Oh, there you go. The little data booklet.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Jim. I'm here with Christian, Topher, and Austin, aka PlebDev. In this hackathon, we worked on a new NIP for streamlining scalable and high-volume machine-to-machine payment services using Nostr, LN URL, and L402s. So, first question is, what is a data buffet? It's a new NIP that standardizes how service providers publish offers and make it easy for clients to interchange and chain requests so they can build pipelines and build sophisticated applications that consolidate the sophistication just of the client. So we stay true to the Nostr design principle of dumb pipes, smart clients. Looking into the context, why did we build this? We looked at the data vending machine status quo, and that is a NIP that provides guidelines for how to do machine payable web or machine-to-machine paid API requests on Nostr. And by design, that NIP is very neutral and agnostic as far as structuring the requests and business models, and that's great. It's great that people are thinking about this, but we thought we want to take it to the next level and really make something specific and standardized that people could actually build on. So the way data buffets work is first, the service provider. We have three entities. We have the service provider. In the top right, we have the relay. In the bottom right, and then we have the client on the left. So first, the service provider will broadcast its offerings or buffet of L402 services that it's willing to provide. The relay takes those up and stores those. The client can then read those. It will instantly know instructions for how to construct a request, select the service provider that meets their needs as far as pricing and reputation, and then compose a compliant request directly to the service provider. Service provider brings back an invoice. Once the invoice is paid, then the client can then pull the get result query, the get result endpoint, and then use the result. So what are the advantages to data buffets? First, it's privacy for both sides. So it's privacy for queries. You can imagine maybe you're a stealth mode startup. You don't want to have all of your data tied to your credit card, or maybe you want to kind of do like a Manhattan Project thing where you break up the requests in different silos so that nobody, no third party could necessarily, easily ascertain exactly what you're doing. You have competition that drives best pricing, so we have standardization that will, ideally drive good pricing, and the opportunity to optimize for quality versus pricing and composability versus convenience. So you get really granular on how you construct these, or you can, just kind of have like a macro that runs. And then obviously overcoming regional restrictions or payment methods. So a lot of people can't get US credit cards, so they're excluded from a lot of these really great AI and machine learning APIs. And for sellers, what do? We make discoverability a lot easier. We make less of a need for front-end lead generation, make it as simple as possible for them to just stand up an endpoint quickly. And we make a new way for them to earn non-KYC sets, so that's how they benefit on the privacy side. So next we're going to get into the demo. For those of you that don't know, that's why they're called L402s, is because payment is required.
So, should I walk through the demo real quick? Yeah. So basically, this is designed so that what you're seeing is just a visual representation. Ideally, you actually have machines talking to each other. It's not like a web client talking to the machine, but you can do that too. So we kind of wanted to have some sort of visual on what's going on. So these are the offers. Christian here, he set up a script where basically sets up the server. He has a server that's forwarding requests that he gets from these offers to different endpoints. The one we're going to demo is the ChatGPT one. So basically what we can do is we can look at these offers that Christian has posted, and we can use it to essentially use his ChatGPT API key. And in exchange, he can earn some KYC-free sats.
Tell me a joke about TABconf.
I already pressed submit, sorry.
It'd be like invalid TABconf.
And there we go.
We can do it again if you want to ask me a different joke.
Okay.
So you don't see it happening here because Christian has auto pay, but we actually, for this demo, we have Albie running in the corner here. So can you actually turn off the auto pay so people can see that there's actually,
Yeah, sure.
you're
But
paying
you
an
can
invoice
see
behind the
that
scenes?
We hit paid each time.
Also, like, let's throw up the console too, because there's all sorts of magical things happening in the background. I kind of hate when demos are too clean, because I want to, there's a lot of sophistication happening in the background. Can you throw up the console too before you hit submit?
We
For
have-
the web browser. Oh yeah, this too. Oh yeah, so you can see some of the requests. Can you go back to the VS Code? Oh, there's the thing. So yeah, go ahead and pay that. So he just paid that invoice for that. Oh man, you're too fast for me. But yeah, so essentially this is his server. The requests are being received. So on the front end, we're just using fetch. So if you're familiar with web development, get fetch. So the cool thing is that what fetch is doing is it's taking all the information from this offer to build its fetch request. And that's what it's using to communicate with the endpoint. So you can imagine that if you already know what the offer is, or if you're not a web browser, then you can just do this in a program. You don't have to go through the web browser for this. But just to give you a visual, we decided to do this web demo to show you what the data buffet looks like. And here you go.
Yeah, and just to expand on what Topher was saying, we imagine that we could have a range of applications here, from fully composable client apps where users can chain requests and build pipelines. I'll give an example. Maybe I want to take an excerpt of someone speaking, transcribe it with Whisper, then send it through ChatGPT to make prompts, and then make 100 different stable diffusion requests to make different images, maybe or make myself a logo, things like that. Making macro endpoints that could put together workflows. So we showed you like the basic building block of the atomic level of just a ChatGPT, but other people could offer macro endpoints that could do a bunch of different things. Having fully machine-driven applications, then also having native no-sir workflows for clients like Damus, Amethyst, Primal. Maybe you could just have like a / macro and then get it to make you an image on the spot for your post, something like that. So we got a lot done in this iteration. We built the client, the relay, and the /nip and the server template that can be reused. But we want to take this further. We're going to make a fully implemented reputational system using proof of payment. So we're going to have another kind that we're going to publish that lets people factor in both reputation and pricing into their purchase decisions, and then also supporting upfront payments or pay at a rate service. For example, if you use Whisper, the cost is going to be variable depending on how long the clip is. So things like that we need to start supporting. Right now it's just a flat rate. And then we're also just going to make trusted and curated relays, wizards that facilitate maybe less technical people spinning up an instance as a service provider, and giving the consumers options, and then also clients that facilitate the applications we talked about before. And just looking at the impact that we think this is going to have, we think that on multiple fronts it's going to make a big difference as far as scalability. It's going to allow for horizontal scaling. Anyone can build and deploy some standard APIs, or even offer. It'll give them an incentive to offer a proprietary one, and have their own specialized models, maybe charge a premium. Inclusivity, like we said, it can bring services to markets where they can't get a US credit card. Privacy on both sides, so privacy for the buyers that can kind of launder their requests through a pseudo VPN, and non-KYC sats for the sellers, and then opportunity on both sides to build services, and on the flip side, benefit from the vast benefits of AI applications. So for those of you that are history buff, standardization is really a big part of technological advancement. If you look at the Romans, part of why they were so dominant, they were able to build roads that were standardized, and build machines that had interchangeable parts. We think this is similar. We can bring that into the decentralized revolution and reap those benefits. And like I said, our design principle was that demand is infinitely dynamic, supply is not. So we cater to making the supply very static and simple, and then letting the client side really be as sophisticated as it wants to be, just like the design principles in Noster. So we consolidate all the dynamism into the client and bring the best cost and scalability we possibly can. And we'll leave you with that. After this, we plan to continue building on this NIP. We're going to tentatively call it NIP 103. We don't know if somebody's going to beat us to publishing, but come build with us and help us make this a reality, make it possible to build decentralized L402 apps.
We have 20 minutes to wrap all this up, just by the way, for everybody else who's coming up. We have